Good morning. It is lesson 3 of Instant Pot School. So if you have an Instant Pot in your kitchen somewhere or hiding in a closet or your garage, let's get it out and put it to work for us so we can get our dinner done easy. So on lesson 1, I did an unboxing and all the basics. Lesson 2, we talked about using the Instant Pot for meal prep. Getting some proteins cooked and in the freezer so you can have really quick meals later on. Today, we're going to talk about side dishes. So I'm going to share a couple of things that I use it for. And one of them is my very favorite macaroni and cheese recipe. Of any way of making macaroni and cheese, this is the best. My opinion, and a lot of other people's too, who have tried this recipe. It's so good. So we're going to make that. If you want to join us for Instant Pot School, if you haven't already, you can, if you're on Facebook, type the word school, that's our keyword, in the comment section if you're on Facebook. If you're watching this on YouTube, there's a link below to join us for Instant Pot School. And that will send you the lesson downloads, all of the videos, even I think what you've missed already, you can catch up. And an Instant Pot meal plan, which looks like this. So this is, it looks just like all the other paid Eat at Home meal plans for our membership site, but this one is all for your Instant Pot. Our membership site, we have 4 different plans and we scatter the Instant Pot recipes through all of those. But this one is just to get us started on the Instant Pot and super fun. You get all of the printable recipes. And then you'll also get lesson downloads, which this I think is lesson 1. So that's what that looks like. And so if you're on Facebook, type the keyword school. If you're watching on YouTube later, just click the link in the video description and that'll get you signed up. All right, let's get cooking. Now, I like doing side dishes in the Instant Pot because especially if you're learning, I think I'm going to sneeze here in a minute. Especially if you're learning your Instant Pot, it doesn't feel like you have a whole dinner riding on what happens here. But I also love it because sometimes, I don't know about you guys, but sometimes I get kind of involved in my main dish and I forget about the side dish. But the Instant Pot is a really, really easy way to do all kinds of side dishes. Like we covered rice in the first lesson. We also covered mashed cauliflower, which is another one of my favorite side dishes I make frequently. Those are all in the first lesson. Today we're going to do the macaroni and cheese. So let's get started with that. So first of all, we're going to use 2 cups of water. I'm cutting this recipe in half from what you've got on your download because that feeds a lot of people, and I only have a couple people here for lunch. So yeah, I didn't want to make that much. So it cuts in half really easy. The times all stay the same. So 2 cups of water into the Instant Pot. And then we're going to use a ½ teaspoon of salt. Just poured that all over the counter. And a ½ teaspoon of ground mustard. Just adds some really nice flavor. And I'll stir that up. And then I've got 2 cups or 8 ounces of dry macaroni pasta. I really like Cremette brand. It's my favorite macaroni. I've tried other brands and they're, it's fine, but Cremette just seems to behave the way I want it to. It just works the best. Okay, so we put the lid on and seal it and then plug in. And make sure the nozzle is set to pressure cooking here. And then we're going to do a manual 4-minute cook time. So we're going to let that go here for a minute. Now, the potatoes, I've got sweet potatoes today, but you can do this, I'll let that be. You can do this with regular baking potatoes or even like little new potatoes, whatever kind you want. But here, let me see if I can maybe angle this camera just a little bit. All right, so I've got a second Instant Pot here. And inside, I've got a rack. This Instant Pot came with a bit shorter of a rack, which I like. The feet are shorter, so it just gives you a little bit more space above the rack. This Instant Pot rack has feet that are probably twice as long. So, I mean, it still works, but yeah. Okay. Let me use this for measuring cup. I'm going to add about a cup or two of water. To the bottom of the pot. And then these sweet potatoes I'm going to have for our dinner. So I think I'm not going to actually turn the pot on, but you'll get the gist. I've already washed them and pricked them. Every time I prick the potatoes, I wonder, is this necessary? Would I really blow up my potatoes if I didn't? I don't know. Okay, so these are just kind of stacked in there. I've got 4 big sweet potatoes. I have done it where I've had quite a few potatoes and I just stack them up as much as I can. I just don't go above that fill line so that it all fits. And that is all you do for that. Put the lid on, make sure it's sealed again, and then set the cook time. It depends on how many potatoes you've got in here. And sweet potatoes, I think, take a little longer to bake than a regular potato. So I'm probably going to set this for 30 minutes because they're pretty big. And I think going a little longer isn't going to be a problem. But I'm going to set it up later today. I don't know. Then it won't be beeping at us for one. So that's all you would do for that. Another recipe that we give you in the download, in the lesson download, is for spaghetti squash. And that is so easy. So if you are doing low carb, or even if you're not, it's still really good. But if you are trying to do low carb, spaghetti squash is a great substitute for spaghetti. It does not taste like spaghetti. I'm not going to lie. It's different, but it's very, very good. My 16-year-old loves it. And sometimes we just prefer it over spaghetti noodles, depending. So yeah, it's very easy to make spaghetti squash in the pressure cooker. And it's really good too if you just put Parmesan cheese on it. It makes a great side dish. Some Parmesan and pepper, really delicious. Also on the blog yesterday, I put the recipe for Instant Pot risotto topped with roasted Italian vegetables. It is wonderful. So you may want to check that out. Okay, so we put 4 minutes on our pot. And I don't know if you can see where it still says on. So it hasn't, that means it hasn't reached pressure yet. So whatever you put in your pot, you've got to allow extra time for the pot to reach full pressure. And the fuller the pot you have, fuller your pot is, and the colder the food is, the longer it will take to reach pressure. This pot isn't very full and it wasn't cold when we started, so it shouldn't take too long, but it still, you can see it still takes a couple minutes. All right, so the rest of this recipe though, I've got 2 kinds of cheese shredded up here. I've got Monterey Jack and also cheddar. And I used a sharp cheddar. You can use mild or whatever. And you could probably vary the types of cheeses, but I like those 2 together. And then also I'm going to go ahead and warm up a combination of half and half and milk. So let's get that going here. This is not a low-calorie recipe. You're probably going to need to eat spaghetti squash the next day to offset, but it is delicious. So I'm going to do 3/4 cup of milk.
You also probably don't make mac and cheese with spaghetti squash as a substitute. So, I mean, some things you've just got to go with the real thing. And
that's right.
Deal with the carbs, right?
That is Beth's voice that you hear over there. Okay, and then I'm bringing this up to 1.5 cups. There's another 3/4 cup of half and half. So equal amounts of half and half and milk. And for some reason, I don't know if it's a regional thing, but this is half and half. This is just the Walmart brand half and half. It's half milk and half cream, and you just get it in your dairy section. I get questions about that. I don't know. Okay, I'm gonna microwave this. And I'm just gonna give it 1.5 minutes just to get it warmed up a little bit. All right, and we're still waiting on this thing to reach pressure. So but I can hear it boiling. I don't think you can probably hear that on the video. And I can see steam is starting to come out. So we're very close. All right, Beth, did we have questions?
We don't have a lot of questions. Barbara said she's thoroughly enjoyed all of the Instant Pot videos.
Okay,
so,
thank you, Barbara.
It just gives you the courage to try stuff. And there's lots of y'all putting in school. So.
Oh, one thing, if you're on Facebook and you type that keyword school in, just follow the prompts. It'll ask for your email address. Your email will probably pop up there. If that's the one you want to use, you can just tap that. And but just follow those prompts, and that'll get you all set up.
And sometimes when you get excited, you might put school with an exclamation point. That may or may not work. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I'm not sure how you have it
so
set.
that doesn't mean you try to give it. So there was a question here, and I just lost it. Valerie says she has heavy whipping cream or evaporated milk. Can she substitute those for the half and half?
You could use only evaporated milk, like an equal part of just evaporated milk. So I used 1.5 cups total. You could use 1.5 cups of evaporated milk, which I think is just a 12-ounce can, which would work perfectly. Or if you have heavy whipping cream, you could use half the amount of heavy whipping cream plus milk. So in your combination of total, you would have 3/4 milk and half heavy whipping cream. Or, I mean, a quarter of heavy whipping cream. Did that even?
I was focused on that. I wasn't.
For the half and half part, you would use half heavy whipping cream and half milk. And then you'd have all of your milk part. So I'm not going to try to do fractions for you guys anymore.
We're not doing that. We're not doing that. Becky says you could probably do equal parts heavy cream and milk to make half and half.
Yes,
that's what it is.
Thank you, Becky, for saying that in a much easier way to understand.
Chantel likes the cherry red one. And yes. And Tina says she wants an Instant Pot. What can she do?
Oh, yes. Thank you for reminding me. We are giving away 2 Instant Pots this month to our people who are registered for Instant Pot School. We're going to give one away to the list. We'll pull a random person from the Facebook Messenger list, and the other will pull a random person from the email list. So if you happen to be on both lists, then you have 2 chances. If you want to be on both lists, you can do that pretty easily.
Yes.
Yeah. So I think
that's it. That's it.
Yeah, I think if you're on the Facebook Messenger list, you're automatically on the email list is how that works. And if you want to be on Facebook Messenger, then just pop over to the Facebook page, message the page with the keyword school, and you're good to go. That'll be it.
Tina said she's on both lists. Yay me. Yes.
Good.
Yay
good,
you.
Tina. Good luck.
Okay.
So, yeah. Okay, we're down to 2 minutes here, so we're making progress. We are making progress. Then when this gets done, I'm going to do a quick pressure release. On these potatoes later, I may do a natural pressure release, although it doesn't matter. But the difference of those, let's talk about that for a minute. A natural pressure release is when the cook time's up, you don't do anything. You just leave the pot sit there until the pressure falls all by itself. It'll take it a while, and then the pot switches over to keep warm. If you do a quick pressure release, which is what we're going to do here in a minute, you will knock this nozzle over, and it releases all the steam, and then you can remove the lid pretty much right away. It takes 9 or 30 seconds or so. You'll see. Kathleen wants to know what happened. I don't know what. I'm not sure what she's talking about.
On the potatoes, there's a question. Are you going to mash those, or are you going to serve them just baked, or what?
I'm probably going to just serve them like a baked sweet potato, but you can. Mashing sweet potatoes is the easiest thing ever. If you've got them cooked until they're really, really soft, just scrape the, you call it pulp? Whatever, the potato, the sweet potato stuff out of its skin, put it in a bowl with a little butter, salt and pepper, stir it up with a spoon. It's so good. So easy.
And there's really no difference in the time, right?
No, you would just want to make sure you bake your sweet potatoes until they're really soft so that you can easily scrape it out with a spoon, and then just stirring it kind of mashes it. Yeah.
Eliza asked if you're getting the link for the 3rd part of the school today.
Yes, that's another good site. If you're watching this live, then I will send out that email with the link and these recipes, the downloads, everything later today. So it may be this afternoon or this evening before I get everything, because we'll put the video on YouTube to send that link as well. But it will be coming today.
And do they ever blow up? The Instant Pots.
You know,
under pressure.
Not for me. Okay, so we're going to release this. Which all I did was knock that nozzle to the side. You do want to do that with like a spoon or something so you don't burn your finger on the steam. No, I've never had it blow up or anything. You really can't open these lids when it's still got pressure in it. It has a little locking mechanism that won't let you. So as long as you don't force the lid open, you should be fine.
They've got their own precautions in place because of the liability. For
I
the company.
think so. Yeah.
Debbie, you asked if recipes generally say if it's quick or natural release. Ours do.
Yes, they usually do. They will usually tell you. I think most of them are going to be quick release. Sometimes I got to tell you I do. Okay, there we go. Now we can open this. Put that over here. And, all right, good. Let me see if I can get you guys to where you can see into this pot. Let me move everything to the side so you can see what's going on.
I'm not helping. I'm just
there we go. Okay. So all of the water is absorbed. Sometimes there might be just a little bit left in there, and that's okay. Then you're going to pour in your warmed milk, half and half combination. And I'm going to set this to saute. Okay, so now I have it on saute. I just kind of want to get it warm and bubbly in there and let it absorb some of this milk. So that's beeping just to tell us the saute feature is on. See, you can tell there's quite a lot of milk in there. So we want the macaroni to absorb some of that. Just a little bit. And then the recipe also calls for a dash of cayenne pepper. I don't always use that. Oh, you guys, that was a ground mustard. If you were here for lesson 2, I almost put curry powder in. What was I making?
It was the chicken curry. You almost put cumin in instead of curry.
Yeah. Yes. No, it was the beans. It was the beans. I almost put curry powder in instead of cumin.
Oh, okay. Felicia, yours froze up. Reload it. Usually that works.
Yeah, if you're on Facebook Live and it froze, sometimes you have to reload.
And Trina asks, this is a great question. She has a glass lid that her husband bought, which is a great investment. But what do you use that for? What do you do with that?
Okay, that's a great question. The glass lid is for slow cooking. Mm-hmm. So you can use this on a slow cooking feature. You can use it with this kind of lid, but you would knock the nozzle over to the side where it says venting so that it never reaches pressure. And the glass lid doesn't have the seal in it, so it will never reach pressure. But I like the idea of a glass lid if you're slow cooking because you can see what's going on in there, which is kind of nice with a slow cooker.
And they're not that expensive.
They're not.
There's a post that you have on the site that includes a bunch of the accessories, and that's in there. I don't think they're that much at all.
No, they're
just
not.
Instant Pot accessories.
Okay, this is getting good and hot. I can hear it. Now I'm going to add my cheese. I'm finding my cheese. We're just going to dump all of that in here.
Now Amy's having mac and cheese for dinner tonight. You've inspired her.
Oh, Amy, you are going to love it. You really are. I'm going to make a big salad and have this for lunch. It's going to be sort of decadent and yummy.
I made that for my youngest one, her last day of school. Like that's literally the whole meal. She was happy.
Yes, so good. So all we're looking for here is just for the cheese to totally melt. And then we're done. It's so easy to make this recipe. And it is so creamy and delicious. Now, I do know that there are some people out there who prefer a dry macaroni. I would like to tell you that I'm not judging you, but I am. That's not nice of me. I like the creamy stuff. So good. Okay, this is done. I'm going to get it out before we get it cooking too much. There's no temperature control on this as far as like when you have the saute button on, it's either on or off. So sometimes if things start to get just hotter than I want them to, I just take the pot out. And that is it. I'm going to dip this up so you guys can see it.
I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
What size would you recommend in terms of an Instant Pot for a house of 3 people?
For a house of 3 people, I would say you would maybe go with a 6-quart. It'll be bigger than what you need, but it doesn't really like it's not like a slow cooker where if you go bigger, it's a bad thing. So yeah, I would probably go with a 6-quart. All right. Now, can you see that? It's delicious. Hello, Karen. Karen's joining us here. We have made macaroni and cheese. We've set up our other Instant Pot with baked sweet potatoes. I'm going to taste this. I don't usually eat on Facebook Live, but I can't help it.
I'm not telling anyone.
Never
mind that it's on film forever.
That's really good.
Is that working for you?
That's going to be a very, very good lunch. I think lunch is going to come a little early today.
There we go.
All right. So if you are not registered for Instant Pot School and you're on Facebook, type the keyword school below. If you're on YouTube, just click the link in the video description. This was lesson 3. We're going to be back for lesson 4 next week. And yeah, you guys have a fun time. I can't wait to hear what you're doing with your Instant Pot. When you join Instant Pot School, you get a link to join our Facebook group as well. So I will see you in there. Thanks so much for joining me. Have a good day.